I guess that was the throw. Thank you, Ron. A superstar emerged with the Dallas Stars in the last couple of years, and he would be Jason Robertson. Thanks for joining us tonight on After Hours.
Yep, absolutely.
And the broadcasting career of Dave Tomlinson peaks now as he's alongside. So, Dave, first to tonight's game.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. You guys played in Calgary on Wednesday. You battled back to get the win. You defended well against Edmonton. Couple of games and a couple of nights, and you get to this building. Was it a little bit tougher to get the energy going as the game went on? Also, a goaltending battle by both Demko and your guy, Ottinger.
Yeah, I think they played a really well game. Kind of turned. We made a lot of neutral zone turnovers. Couldn't really get on a forecheck, and it was also a lot of special teams. So they made a lot of key plays, and we just couldn't get one.
Jason, there's a ton of hockey stuff that we can talk to you about, and we will. But first, I think just as interesting, perhaps more so, is your journey to the NHL, yours and your brother Nick's. And much of that journey was spent in this RV, from which the sweet smell of drying hockey equipment emanated. Explain.
Yeah, no, I mean, back in California, we had a lot of commuting from school to hockey, and I'm sure you know California traffic isn't too pretty. So my mom and dad thought, let's just get an RV, let them do their school, let them make dinner, because we ended up staying hours at the rink. So we kind of built that identity of just being like around the rink and just doing that. And I mean, I wouldn't be here without it.
So you're from Arcadia, the LA area, 3 hockey-playing brothers. Was the RV the key for your parents, Hugh and Mercedes, to get you to and from practices and games?
Yeah, I mean, especially in Los Angeles, I think it was the biggest thing, like I said. But, I mean, when we moved to Detroit, making those trips to out east to, like, Boston, Buffalo, everything, Toronto, we used that RV all the time, too. So it was very handy, and I mean, we actually had another vehicle called the van that was probably a little more miles on it, but we definitely needed that to get what we wanted to do.
A lot of miles on the van, obviously, when the family moved from the LA area to Michigan. We just saw the map there. The RV, though, would you guys actually sleep in it before practices and games?
No, not really. I mean, we're just doing work or school, but I'll tell you what was really convenient, and I'm so grateful to my mom and dad to do this, but, we wake up at 6 in the morning, going to, rink, going to practice, whatever, and the bed's set up in the RV for us to go sleep while my mom and dad drive it. So
Okay.
I'm very, very grateful, and they've done a lot of stuff for us, so it's great to see that we have some success.
So when you were 10, the family moved from the LA area to Northville, Michigan for more hockey playing opportunities for you and your brothers. Dave?
Yeah, just what's the connection between leaving the California area, moving to Michigan, and where that fits in your journey to make the NHL?
Yeah, well, my dad was born in Detroit, Grosse Pointe, Detroit, so he had a little bit of ties back there. He moved a long time ago, but at the end of the day, we wanted to pursue hockey. That's what we wanted to do. My dad and my mom made the decision to, move to Detroit where hockey is more accessible, because while we're in Los Angeles, we're either playing handful of teams playing up or traveling out to the Midwest, East, North to Canada. So we just wanted to really just put ourselves in a position to grow in hockey, and Detroit was the best call for us.
Did you ever think in an alternate universe, if you didn't make that move, you get to the NHL? If you stayed in California, where would that bring you?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that, but I have thought about that with my parents. A couple years ago, we thought, what would happen? We don't know, but a couple years later, I think the Kings won the Cup, so it kind of blew up hockey in that area. So more people got invested in it. So I guess we won't know, but I mean, I think we can look back and just enjoy what we did.
So you went on to star with Kingston, and your brother Nick, 2 years younger, with Peterborough in the OHL. So the move certainly paid off in that way, en route to both of you being drafted into the NHL. You can, Jason, sting a puck. And here is a picture that has to do with the origin of your shot. And again, you can explain. We'll see it here in 1 second. And I think... there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's we still have that down in our house in Michigan. My dad set up a nice tarp. Back in LA, we actually had a shooting room with an extra netting and a real net. When we got to Michigan, we tried to adapt and get that basement, layer. So unfortunately, it didn't really hold up well. And as you can see,
not.
You can see shots on the right on the other wall. It's kind of rogue. So I mean, plenty of shots, hopefully more accurate, but I mean, my brother, my older brother, my little brother, we're all just working hard down there and trying to perfect our shot.
Now, did your parents ever say, okay, now you've got to go spackle it up after making all that mess?
Yeah, I think eventually when we get it, they're going to come back us because, we can afford it now. I know when we were kids, it was just fun. So, but we did a lot of hockey in that room, a lot of floorball in that room. That room was a big part of my career. And, I mean, no one really knows about that, but it was one of the most fun places. My brothers and I could play hockey and get away from the rink and just really enjoy it.
So there was the legendary dryer that Sidney Crosby fired pucks into in the basement of the Crosby family home in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. And as you scored 41 2 years ago and 46 last year, that picture of the basement wall of the Robertson home started making the rounds. And that is where the shot came from, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot of practice, a lot of encouragement from my dad, a lot of encouragement from my brothers. We worked hard together to get reps. And, of course, my skills coach back in Michigan, I still work with Tomlinson. We always try to perfect something and hopefully try to get that going this year.
All right, a few family pictures here now. Your mother, Mercedes, was born in Manila, Philippines, and came to the U.S. at the age of 3 with her family. So you are just the second Filipino-American to play in the NHL, and that makes you a role model for Asian hockey players. Let's get this comment in from Jonathan Zygmunt before we get to the question. How does it feel to be making such a big impact on the Filipino-American and Filipino-Canadian population in terms of growing the sport? Because not many Filipino descent stars in North America pro sports, or there aren't many. We're proud of you, J-Rob. So I guess the question is, how seriously do you take being a role model?
I mean, very seriously. I think growing up in my family, we always try to keep the same characteristics that we had when we were growing up. Hardworking, respectful, and then just being a real good person. And that doesn't change when I get to pro, especially not on the ice, but off the ice. I want to be a great influence for all the people looking up to me, regardless, if they're Filipino-American or anything. I just want to show those morals, be a great leader, and just, stay humbled.
If you are the second Filipino-American to play in the NHL, there had to be a first one, and that was Tim Stapleton, who played over 100 games in his NHL career. How does being a role model for you manifest itself? For example, are you often approached by young Asian hockey players?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most humbling and special moments, one of the most special moments, is when young kids would come up to me and say, I look like you, I want to get into hockey, I want to be like you. And that's very touching. And obviously, it puts a responsibility on me to be a good person and a good hockey player. But I just have to fulfill that and encourage that, and just like I said, show off the morals that I had when I was a kid, and just be a good role model.
Your mother, Mercedes, has been quoted as saying that she's very proud of how you and your brother Nick have embraced your heritage. So you actually see an opportunity here to change the face of hockey for young Asian players?
Yeah, I mean, growing up in California, you actually really saw a lot of Asian players. I mean, growing up, it was pretty common to see Asian hockey players, but when I moved out, you start seeing that it's not so much, and but it's growing now, especially in Dallas too. You see it at the rink, see our fans and everything. So it's very exciting that we're moving in the right direction, and it's great that I can help expose that to more people.
We are coming up on American Thanksgiving. It is a hugely important holiday in the U.S., and perhaps even more so for the Robertson family, for reasons beyond the game of hockey itself. Why?
Yeah, so my little brother was born 2 months premature. Three months premature. So back in 2001, I think the day he came back was American Thanksgiving. So that's a very important day in our family. Unfortunately, I was a couple years old, so I didn't know how much it meant. So, but looking back on it, it's very important. And now, I mean, when I'm in Dallas, a lot of my family comes down to the games, and they'll be coming down to the Thanksgiving game we have soon. So, it's a very important time to realize what we have and seeing our family, and it's very important to us.
How proud of you were you of your brother Nick getting drafted, and in this city that we're in right now? Like, what did that bring for you and your family?
Yeah, well, it kind of reminded me of my draft, and you get that jitters and everything. And I remember I sat in this building when he got picked, and it was for Toronto, and we were very jubilant. And it was just like a completely different experience, and I was so happy for him. And to see how far he's come from when that happened to now, he's matured, he's grown, and he's going to take he's going to take it all over right now.
Nick was born 3 months premature on 9/11 of all dates. We would like to play a portion of a Sportsnet feature in which your father speaks emotionally about how serious things were at Nick's birth.
They weren't sure if Nicky was going to survive and he might need a transfusion. So could I go get blood? So I'm standing in line. As I told my story, it must have been 20 or 30 people in front of me. And I said, my son's in ICU. One by one, they all said, get in front of me. September 11th was an emotional time for the country, for the world, but they all came together for my kid.
The Leafs selecting Nicholas Robertson at number 53.
When they called his name, it was an immediate flashback to the doctor saying, if you want to put him on life support, and if you do, we're not sure he'll survive.
So from that to 18 years later, I should say, being drafted in the second round by the Leafs, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could see it. He's a fighter. I mean, it's super humbling, and he's been fighting his whole life. You can see it, and it was a very emotional moment when he got what he wanted to make it, and he's worked for everything so far. So he's one of the hardest working, if not the hardest working, hockey players I know. He's so committed, and I mean, it was just a tremendous moment for our family.
And Nick had last season cut short by shoulder surgery, and he started this season with the Marlies. MMC asks, what have you told your brother these last couple of seasons with the adversity he's faced with injuries and playing in the minors while yet producing in the AHL when he's healthy?
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty unique. I mean, I knock on wood, haven't really dealt with a lot of injury problems. I hope I never do, but he has these past couple of years, so he's built that toughness and kind of that mentality that I never have. So I think he's mentally tougher than I am because he's been able to do that, and it's very inspiring, and it's very what can I say? It's very inspiring for me to just see how hard he works and how he bounces back from this stuff. I've had it, I've been told someone else recently. I haven't had that, those lows of being injured, and he has, and he's bounced back, and I look up to him because of that, and I'm very proud that he can come back and not only do that, but take it to another level and try to just keep working.
Well, you're a close-knit family, but you talk about being a role model for other Asian players. Your brother looks up to you because you've kind of forged the path. You spent some time in the American League as well. You were drafted, so you could kind of give to him some knowledge about what it's going to be on draft day. So, I mean, you kind of following in your wake.
Yeah, I mean, I moved to Toronto my minor midget year before the OHL. He followed suit, played Bantam Major, midget minor there, and then got drafted to Peterborough. So we were in the same division in the OHL. We played each other 8 times, so it's very easy for our parents to come see. So, but he's kind of built his own path, and I'm very proud of him and what he's been able to do. I mean, I get down to Dallas. He stays in Toronto in that same area, so he's been grinding really hard. And I mean, at the time I played in my American League, it was COVID, so it was a long time ago. But he's working hard, and I'm super excited to see what's the future for him.
Should point out that your older brother Michael gravitated towards academics, and so he's out of the game. But your sister Bree tried hockey briefly. The sport was not for her, and so she moved into hand-to-hand combat in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She performed on stages or competed on stages all across the U.S. What is the update on Bree's career?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bree was the best jiu-jitsu fighter that I've watched. I mean, she was dominant, and unfortunately, I think injuries kind of took a toll and kind of just rolled and dominoed, and then it got to the point where it was too much. So it's she enjoyed her time. She's very at peace with not playing and not competing anymore, but she's enjoying life and she's working.
So her career's over.
Yeah, I think it's over, but she's still is around it and goes to the gym, works out, still does stuff. But yeah, unfortunately the injuries did take over, but she's at peace with it now.
Well, the obvious question then, who is the best athlete in the Robertson family?
I don't know. Maybe my older brother. He never gets some love, but he played hockey too. You never know.
Now, for the hand-to-hand comeback, I mean, normally brothers take care of their sisters. It seems like she could help out if you guys ever got into some rough stuff.
Yeah, well, I certainly want to get in a tussle with her. I mean, at least I can overpower my brothers, but I can't get myself an arm lock or a leg lock or whatever. And I mean, I don't want to mess with her.
Well, here's Bree's quote. Whatever my brothers say, it's a lie. I can definitely kick their butts. Now, Nick has said he'd have a chance if it were prison rules, but it wouldn't be so good if he had to follow Brazilian jiu-jitsu rules. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think if I got on the ground, I'm done. I think she got me if I hit the ground. You know, but she'll probably find a way to take me down, and then I'm done. So, I mean, she competed against guys who are bigger than me and probably stronger than me. So she definitely would kick my butt.
Okay, let's talk some hockey. You put yourself on the NHL radar by scoring 40-plus goals in each of your last 2 years of junior. Your last year it was split between Kingston and Niagara. You scored 48 that year. You were a hot prospect. Now, Chris Peters is a well-known hockey journalist who specializes in covering prospects, and here is how he described this Robertson kid.
The thing that Jason Robertson has always had in spades, and we talked about it with other guys as well, that hockey sense. He is a genius. He really is. And then he executes at a high level because he worked continually on his shot. He began to understand NHL goaltending. He began to understand how he needed to play in order to be successful. And he's one of those guys that doesn't skate fast, but plays fast because he processes the game at a speed that is unlike many players. So he's very unique in that way.
So I think that was actually posted about 10 months ago when you were on the way to scoring 46. But Jason Robertson, how does it feel to be a genius?
Oh, very touched. I mean, I love seeing those junior clips.
No, but actually, Chris, did he not accurately describe your game?
Yeah, I mean, I like to play fast. And fortunately enough, these past couple of years with Pete, we've been playing fast, and everyone has that same mindset of moving the puck quickly. So it kind of look back at it, and it really works out. So I think I did all of that in junior, and it's kind of translated to pro.
I'm looking at some of those clips, and I've seen you play a lot at the NHL, and it seems like you get the puck, and somehow you're just wide open. Like you seem to disappear and then reappear, puck on your stick, and then you've got enough room to let your patented shot go.
Yeah, I mean, I try to get that done. It's a lot harder in the NHL, I mean, as you can imagine. But fortunately enough, I'm on a great team, play a lot of great players. So they create space for me, find me and stuff, and look to keep doing that this season.
Well, heat maps. Let's have a look at those, Dave.
Let's take a look at where you're most successful from. And, of course, the closer to the net, the more dangerous you become. This was the 22-23 season where everything you touched seemed to go past the goaltender. This is this year, so you've added another little leg for your goal scoring there on the top of the circle on the far side. But, you know, how is it you get so comfortable to be able to bury pucks from an area that's really difficult to get to?
Yeah, well, it's nice that it's to be 6'3", 205 pounds.
Yes.
Right?
So, yeah, you're hard to move.
Yeah, well, I try to be. So, no, just fighting, get those areas, get those spots. I mean, guys are going to check you hard, right? You learn that in the playoffs, especially. Those goals are hard to come by, and the more I can just try to get open and try to fight for some space, and I know my teammates will find me.
You were in the Hart Trophy conversation last season. Actually, I guess we should more accurately say the secondary conversation, because Connor McDavid was going to win it all the way, and he did. But you finished fourth in the voting with the desire to constantly improve, Dave.
Yeah, just, you know, a lot of players, we talk about Sidney Crosby and identifying something he needs to do better in the offseason, going after it, and then realizing the fruits of his labor. What was it for you between the last couple of off seasons that you identified for yourself that you really wanted to focus on to get better and continue to score goals?
Yeah, well, I wanted to try to get my feet moving more. I think just being a little bit quicker, longer strides, everything. I mean, I don't think I've peaked yet, so I think there are plenty of things to work on. And I, changed my workouts program with my trainer and everything, and kept working with my skills coach. So I'm glad to have my little brother there to keep pushing me, and we push each other to try to improve. So I mean, we put a lot of work in this summer, definitely.
I thought you were going to say you're going to change your diet, and your mom's going to be like, "No, you like the home cooked food.
Nah.
She must have something special she makes for you."
No. Yeah, well, my mom, she definitely makes some good food.
We got a ton of questions here about your favorite Filipino food. Do you have one?
Yeah, my grandmother always makes this chicken adobo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like chicken marinated and juices and everything, some peppercorns, and with a side of white rice.
It sounds delicious.
Yeah.
46 goals last year. You're a little bit off that pace this year. How do you avoid the old squeezing the stick too hard when you're expected to score, as you are now?
Well, I mean, I kind of had that idea in playoffs. I mean, I couldn't find one in the playoffs, and I got a little. I mean, of course, it's the highest of pressure and everything, and I was able to work through it. So, I mean, I'm on too good of a team to not get chances, too good of a team to not get opportunities to score. So, I can take a deep breath about that, but I just can't be complacent. Keep working hard through it, and opportunities are going to come.
Hey, you had 1 in 7 2 years ago, your first 7, 2 years ago when you ended up with 41, and I think you had 3 in the first 10 that year. So, no panic here.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, we're a deep team, and I'm playing with a very elite player. So
You're a 70-game guy. That's what it is. Forget the first 10 or 12. You know.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at a landmark goal of yours. This was the season before last, the completion of your first NHL hat trick. This game was in Winnipeg, and you scored the OT winner on a race that you won. It took I think we have it here, took every last ounce of energy in your tank. And this would be you flat on your back, I'm exhausted, Selly, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I was mic'd up for that. I never got the audio for that. It's probably me just huffing and puffing. But yeah, if I didn't bury there, I better have gotten a penalty shot.
And look, not an ounce of energy left. I think that goal put you at 26 on the way to 41. And that was the year in which you were finishing up your entry-level contract. So it was perfect timing, in the words of longtime Stars analyst Darryl Ray.
That kid is going to get paid, man. I mean, paid.
And you did get paid, although negotiations on the new deal went up to a week before the season opener. Were you getting nervous?
Yeah, I think everything starts happening, everything starts moving as soon as the season starts. I mean, you know, training camp is important, but it's something that, you know, guys have not missed before, and we're able to come right back in and perform. So I knew working with my agent and my family that we were going to get something done before the season. We wanted to, and I look back a year and a couple of weeks later, and I mean, I wouldn't have changed anything.
I think you said agent. You got a new agent in Darryl Ray. I think he's expecting to peel off a couple of, his way for those kind words.
The long-held belief is you don't want to miss training camp, otherwise you'll spend the first few months of the season trying to catch up, and you blew that theory all to bits.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was fortunate enough to hop right back where I ended with Roop and Pav, and Pete comes in and kind of changes the system and that stuff, and kind of puts it in my favor. I mean, in the way I want to play and the way I want to try to produce offense. So it didn't take long, maybe a couple weeks to get back into those games and playing those games. But I look back on it now, and I mean, a couple preseason games would be nice.
You were a first All-Star last season, the first-time All-Star, and the game was in Florida. There you were in the company of greats like McDavid and Draisaitl, and just a little bit nervous about a draw you had to take.
How did we match up against these guys? Why are we matched up against them? I've taken one draw in 2 years. It was against you.
Yeah, I think I lost it. 0 for 10 that period.
You said in the game in Winnipeg you were mic'd up and couldn't speak. You got that one out there. How'd you do against Draisaitl? And was that one of your, oh my goodness, like I'm an all-star in the NHL?
Yeah, I think making that was a pretty special moment, having my family there. But I mean, I think the second year, I think playing against all the guys, you get familiar. I remember my first media tour, 2021, right after the COVID year, you start seeing these players that you didn't see because you had that funky divisions. Yep. I thought that was like kind of like, oh wow, like, I see like Sidney Crosby, I didn't play last year, and like, okay, now you kind of feel around them, and obviously being in the All-Star game is a special moment, and you always want to do it. I remember watching as a kid, and very fortunate I was able to make it last year.
Here's a comment or a question from Shane Stevenson. What's it like being part of arguably the greatest draft class of all time, greatest Dallas draft class of all time with Ottinger and Heiskanen? So the Stars took Heiskanen and Ottinger in the first round, you in the second round. So it was a very productive draft. Is that lost on you, that class?
No, I mean, it's truly a special moment. I mean, we always see it and think about it, when it's ever brought up, how special it is. You don't find a franchise goalie, a franchise D-man, and a player and a forward like me in one round very often. So you look back at it now, and we hit all of the spots, and 6 years later, we're all producing and being big parts of this team, and hopefully and ideally, we're going to be big parts throughout these our careers.
Yeah, you're core pieces of the Dallas Stars franchise now, for sure. Let's talk about your social conscience. You exercise that in Dallas with JR's Heroes. How do JR's Heroes work?
Yeah, well, every other game or every game we can, we try to bring a family veteran, whether it's their family who's there or if he's off somewhere, we bring their family, try to bring them to a game and give them an experience, try to make the kids feel special. The thing is with JR's Heroes is it's kind of a play on words because Jason Robertson, but JR is junior heroes, and in that sense, the kids are heroes in my eyes. The fact that they can sacrifice a parent going overseas and not being around for their birthdays or Christmas or anything or an uncle or a sister or whatever. I think those kids are truly important and very it's a very noble sacrifice that they have to make that we don't really acknowledge. I don't think it's acknowledged, and what I try to do is bring them out and try to make it feel special and give them a moment.
Well, your dad had season tickets to the Kings games, so you went to LA Kings games when you were young and were part of the growth and seeing hockey grow in LA, and now you're in Dallas being a part of a resurgence in young hockey players wanting to have aspirations to make the NHL and be able to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy how you all look back on how I got to where I am. There I am, there and still moving around, still number 25. So I mean,
is that a wood stick?
No, that's a TPS Rick Nash curve stick, yellow TPS stick. I mean, I was playing on a couple different teams in Los Angeles in that area, and the biggest thing with my dad at the time was to get us on the ice as much as possible. So we'd have practices, private lessons, games, in-house games, just as much hockey as we can. And I mean, we were trying to get better, but we also enjoyed it so much that we were very happy he did that.
Just one other thing on JR's Heroes. We have been told it was inspired. The initiative was inspired by your billet dad, Tim Branham. Kingston has a military base, and he was actively involved in running programs there. So shout out to your billet dad, Tim Branham. How's your golf game going?
It's improved. I mean, shot under 100 a couple times.
We have intel that says you either send it straight down the fairway 350 yards or you duff it.
Yeah, I think I need to work on consistency, definitely in all aspects. But I mean, I'm in Dallas, so I have plenty of opportunities this year to get some more work done.
Jason, thanks for your time. Really, really appreciate you coming up to join us on After Hours today.
Yeah, guys, awesome. I appreciate it.
Okay. So that's how we'll leave it. Jason Robertson of the Dallas Stars, nicely into his career, was our guest. Back to conclude proceedings in a moment.